Can you hear me now? I mean, yeah, it shows that it's connected. You should be able to hear me now. I'm such a noob when it comes to setting up these, but I'll get better, I promise. Yeah, awesome. That's good. I'll lower the lights a bit. It's still a bit bright. That's wrong. I'm such a noob. Yeah, this should be nice. And maybe this. And now we'll start the fire. Yeah, that's better. That is better. One could think I'd be kind of practicing this, but I'm not. I'm not a scientist. I'm a fencer. Good evening, guys. Happy to have you. We can talk about interesting topics such as fencing, for example. So, any kinds of questions you have. Oh, that's hella loud. Again, I'm happy to have you. Any kinds of questions you have. For example, I've been to the Czech Republic this week, and I've learned so many things about fencing that I never thought I'd be able to learn. It was a fantastic time there, and I might have stumbled into something big for my future too. So that's going to be really exciting. Just trying to get this started quickly so we can move on. So grab yourself something nice to drink maybe. And yeah, let's just have a good time. Might turn this down a bit though, it's pretty loud. Better. Just a slight bit. So either my chat isn't working, or you guys aren't actually asking questions. Oh, there's a question. How long have I been practicing HEMA? I think it should be like properly practicing it should be like maybe 1.5 years. I've actually not been doing this for so long. Most people tend to think I've been doing this for way longer, but I haven't. I'm very open about that. But that just means that if you're dedicated enough, I think a fire might be a bit far off. Don't have enough kindling. No problem. It'll still be fine. So if people dedicate themselves properly, then I think it's pretty achievable to get pretty good in a very short amount of time. You have to be working hard though. Like that's not just a platitude. I'm literally like training at least 5 times a week. So if I'm not like practicing on my own, I'm meeting with other guys to train. I'm going to classes. I have several different training groups because I'm going to be like 30. Yeah, I'm going to be 34 at the end of the year, so I have to catch up, you know? I'm not 20 anymore. Thank you. Yeah, the knowledge first and foremost. Oh, this light is so fucking annoying, man. The knowledge first and foremost comes through a lot of reading, through watching a lot of videos, and honestly through the fact that I've been into medieval history, combat sports, and yeah, weapon craft and so on for I think since I was 16 or 17. So it's not that I'm new in a theoretical way. I'm a bit newer in terms of actually practicing the stuff. So 3 months. That means are you already fencing with steel, or do you still use nylon or wood? Hey, Wotan, komm her, Großer. Wo ist denn? Wo ist denn mein Schatz? Mehr Happy gibt's nicht. Hm? Schon feini? My dog is saying hi. I think he's just hungry and begging me to get something. Na, Dickerchen. Zu süß? Hm. With wood. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, he is. I think he might be one of the most beautiful dogs I've ever seen. But he's trying to get me to give him more food because he's hungry. Ow! Because he's hungry. And he has a headbutt like a drunken fighter. Wotan, es gibt nichts mehr. Mach Pause. Platz. Also, typical Malamute fashion. He's choosing to listen or not to listen to me, which is pretty cool, honestly. I respect that. He has his own head, his own will, and it's a very strong will. And I really, really like that about him. It's one of the most interesting things about this dog breed. They are very, very independent. So if they choose to love you, and if they choose to follow you, then you've done something right. Which apparently I haven't really, because he's pissed at me for for not giving him more food. Hema Club with loaner gear. Dude, that's more than enough. You don't need a lot of gear. In fact, honestly, I am going to almost switch off fighting with gear completely. I do have gear. I will fence with it occasionally to just test myself in a very safe manner, to go a bit more all out, you know. But I'm mostly going to be doing Bloßfechten from now on, because I found a Fencers Guild that I want to be a part of, and these are legitimately the best swordsmen I've ever seen in my entire life. Nothing or no one comes even that close to it. And I think gear might be hindering our progress more than it would give us safety. These people actually like go full speed without any gear, not even gloves, and they do hit each other on the head too. The target area is this, so pretty much the crown, but only to the sides and the front. So no strikes against the back of the head or the neck. Also no thrusting towards the face, obviously. And yeah, the higher level guys all have some sort of scarring, but that's mostly because they are sometimes practicing with sharp swords too. But like if you do it properly, then you won't be hurt. I spent almost a whole week there, and yeah, aside from being incredibly sore all over my body because these guys are already also really good at ringen, nothing. It was the best experience sports-wise I've ever had in my life. Yeah, snackies are important, man. Ach, Ebbe. Hey. By the way, I don't. No, you can't you can't see it, but this is a mug, and it's full of Landsknechts, like with different beard styles and different kinds of clothing. They look very fashionable indeed. I think buffers might be detrimental to practicing learning and such. No, honestly, I think buffers are amazing, but again, gear in terms of safety gear will be a very very big hindrance to our progress, because we learn to get ourselves into engagements that we're not completely sure we are safe to be in. That means we will definitely not really care about the for, nach, and indes and moving through those stages of combat properly. And that, first and foremost, will lead to very, very bad habits and to injuries too. Ja, kannst du ruhig machen, ist kein Problem. Ich verstehe dich ja trotzdem. I'll answer you in English. I hope that's okay. I don't know how this works yet, like with live streaming on YouTube. They might have a language detection too. And if I switch languages, it might get confused, and that means no views. I mean, I'm not getting any proper views on live streams anyway, but it's a fun thing to do. And I have a very free evening, and I wanted uh, to go to the fire pit anyways. So, by the way, I'm horribly cheating, like in an immense way, but I don't care. I want my fire. Still, it might not be working, honestly. Yeah. If it doesn't, I've got candles, so it's very romantic. Yeah, I think I can forget about this. I forgot to make kindling earlier, and that bites me in the ass now. So, no fire for me apparently. But that means I can stop moving and therefore stop triggering that stupid light over there. I hate it so much. I wish I could disconnect it somehow. But my landlady wouldn't like it probably. Yeah, no worries. Are you already preparing for Steinfurting? Because my one of my training groups is already talking about it. I think the chat might be very, very far behind what's actually happening, and I have no idea how to do differently. Seite Schwert. I have no idea about it, but tell me. I mean, I could look it up, but we can just talk about it in a more organic way, and I would prefer that. yeah, I like it. I'm excited for it too. But to me personally, it's not really like the main thing I'm training for. I just want to be safe, and I want others to be safe. And of course, fighting is a good thing too. I won't lie. So it's a more gamified risk. Okay, so Billy with more target zones. What do those entail? Isn't that just like Havel or Huskar then? I mean, I read you said it was you can uh, have some sort of progression system, but to me that sounds a bit restrictive. Maybe for very new people, it could be alright. Was los, Wotan? Komm her. The Gothic harness from Freihand is very much fine, even for pretty tough contact sparring. I've done it several times and I haven't been hurt once. It's absolutely thick enough for harness fencing. There's no doubt about it. I've got several male pieces coming into in 6 millimeters, so like really proper, high quality, flat riveted, and putting those underneath the plates will cover my weak spots. And honestly, I don't have any worries fighting with this. Not one. It's very sufficient and like pretty much the best price you could get anywhere. So if you're thinking of buying one, go for it. Yes, they are my sponsor, so they. I mean, I've worked to get this armor piece, but I would have bought it with my own money uh, if they hadn't sponsored me, because it's really good. Of course, it's not really ornamental or anything, but it will protect you sufficiently. It does its job very well, and it looks good enough. Especially the legs and the back; they look really good. And I'll be customizing it a bit in the future, so I'll be probably blackening most of it, and then yeah, maybe do some brush work with metals, so it has a golden sheen. It will look really good. Got a helm in the works too. A buddy of mine is making me one, a pretty special kind of helmet. It's going to be a late medieval salad, so I think it's going to look pretty cool. Originally, I wanted to go with an armet, obviously, like most of the harness fencers do, but he thought differently. He said you need to look different, and I believe the late salad, the German version, would fit you very well. And he's customizing it. I mean, the whole thing is custom made, so he's customizing it with a certain style of beard, and I think this will give me really, really good protection. I'm very excited for it, and I hope he's finished with it by like early autumn. You mean the process of blacksmithing? I mean, he's living quite a few kilometers away from me. He's in Kiel, so I probably won't be able to go there very often. We're gonna meet up in July to take the measurements for my head and to film some sparring videos with him and another guy. Um, that's going to be really fun. But maybe he can make a video or two, but I want him to focus on his craft. He's a very, very, very good artist. Like, his drawings look incredible, and the ironwork he's able to do is pretty good also. So yeah. The blackening. Yeah, the stuff. I think that's going to be a fun video project too. Although I normally like despise doing any kind of video works when I'm crafting something because my hands are very busy, and most of the time it's pretty dirty. And there's going to be like most yeah I'm doing basic blacksmithing work too, so like spears and axe heads and so on, and usually it's very dirty, but blackening is a pretty simple process. I think I'm going to film it on my terrace, maybe put up some plastic sheets in order to not get the chemicals on the ground, then put up a working table, and then just yeah do the stuff I'm supposed to do with it. This is smoking the whole time. It smells absolutely horrible. I might have effed myself over with the idea of making fire today. It's really nasty smell wise. This should be doing the trick. And the stupid light went off again. I hate it. Damn. New. I lost the chat window. I need to get it back. Oh, dude, I dislike working with a single screen so much. Oh, there it is again. Ja, hab nicht genug Anzündsachen und es ist halt recht spät. Ich werde jetzt hier nicht mehr Kleinholz machen. Ich habe ja einen Spaltblock hier im Garten stehen. Aber es ist saulaut und meine Nachbarn haben ganz süße Kinder, aber die sind auch ein bisschen jünger und die sollen in Ruhe Bubu machen können und nicht noch von Onkel Ragnar geweckt werden, der dann entscheidet, noch spät abends Feuerholz zu machen. Yeah, I'm making my own spearheads. How many have I crafted myself, including the ones I horribly deformed and broke. Honestly, although I think I had like 4 failed attempts. One was really sad because I made a very long spearhead, like I think this long. It was really nice looking, and the blade itself was very robust, but um, the connection to the shaft was a bit too thin because I didn't have enough material left, so it broke. And that made me really sad because it looked very nice. I think I made overall about 8 or so. I don't really have enough. I hadn't really have enough time. I didn't really have enough time for the last few months. So I only made a knife for a friend. Oh no, that was last year. Time flies by. Last year I did quite a lot of blacksmithing projects, but this year I think I made only 1 or 2 so far, and they were a spearhead and a crossguard for a sword blade that a good friend of mine who teaches me the craft gave me for my birthday last year. Yeah, well, no, that's Sunday morning at like 7 o'clock. But I like my neighbors, so I don't want to make them my enemies. it's pretty silent around my music. I think I have 2 to 3 paid gigs this year, but that's mainly because of how much I'm doing with the fencing stuff. And I think I'm going to keep it that way. I really love making music. I have always loved doing it. And being on stage is surely fun too. But um, it's sort of bad for private life to be constantly touring. I mean, it's nice. I made quite a bit of money last year doing it, but it was really, really, really exhausting. And you always, as a singer-songwriter, I mean, you're solo, so you always have to take really good care of your voice. You can't really talk much before you're on stage, and afterwards, your voice is pretty cooked. And then maybe you have bad weather conditions, and it's very cold at night, so your voice takes a really nasty hit, and your performance isn't that great. I mean, people always liked it, and I made them happy, but of course you're critical about yourself. So I rather focus on having fun with music and with writing music, and especially like widening the scope. I have mainly done this Viking stuff, and it was fun. Um, but I think I'm pretty much done with it now, and I'll move back towards blues and towards English texts because that's my usual passion. So dark blues songs are pretty much my go-to normally, and yeah, but it's still fun going to play for the birthday of a good friend of mine, and um, on one festival on Midsummer in the Erzgebirge, and then I think one gig for a for a reenactment event in October maybe. Smithing is fun. It's exhausting work. I mean, it's really really fun, but it's exhausting work. It's very dirty. If you don't have a super clean gas-driven forge, and but even then, you're going to have metal dust all over your body, basically. But it's very very fun. Yeah, I might do it way more once I get older, like way older. Uh, but for now, my main focus will be fencing. I'm trying to get through to the Gazellen level um, f- within the next year, basically. So at this point in 2027, hopefully, I'll be there. And then Viking will always be the first thing. I mean, I sort of stumbled into the other stuff. So it's yeah, it may look like evolving, but I'm just adding to it. I still really like dressing in early medieval clothing. I think they just look very like understated and very nice. I like Huskal, and I will continue liking Huskal. It's very much a game, um, and the level of fencing and of opponents just isn't that high, but it's a lot of fun, like a whole lot of fun, and um, going to these events to just have fun in a safe way is cool. The only thing I really dislike is how incredibly big the egos are in that on that side of reenacting. It's so exhausting. I mean, grown ass men who are like weekend warriors, and their egos are so fragile. That's very exhausting. Like certain key people who you're always meeting again and again and again, and they are exhausting. But still, got a lot of friends there. Met a lot of nice people, so I'm going to continue staying in that bubble, but just for fun, like not taking it very seriously. and yeah, the rest of the stuff, I guess that evolved. Um, I I used to wanted to compete in HEMA, like internationally, but after witnessing how incredibly good you can become as a fencer when you're leaving your protective gear behind, I'm very much of a new opinion, and therefore going to focus on like becoming the Gazelle, eventually master, traveling a lot, learning a lot, and especially teaching a lot of people. And I mean, I could think of myself doing the occasional tournament when high level fencers are there, just to test how much I improved. But most of the time, I'll be enjoying Bloßfechten and Harnischfechten. I'll be getting way more into Harnischfechten now that I got the harness. And I'm going to try and build up the scene in Germany because it's very, very, very small. But I think we can have way more people there and could be incredibly fun. The scene in France is really or seems pretty amazing to me. Spain has one too. Czech Republic, Poland have really good scenes in terms of harness fencing, and I think it's pretty much the most fun combat thing I've ever done because everything is allowed. It's just about kill shots. Get the guy in the armpit, underneath the gorget, or in between the legs. And if you can't manage that, or if he doesn't surrender, well, the fight goes on. It's just like in Bloßfechten. There are no point systems, no game mechanics. The the man or woman with the better decision making and better skill set wins. And that's awesome. It's very honest. There's no debating it. Like if you're at an impasse, you block high, and you feel the blade here, and it like presses into your arm. Well, then you felt the steel. There's no need to for further pain, and the discussion can't even start. That's very cool. I like it. Am Interval reenactment. No, I have a different set of armor for that. I've got my lamella armor for that. That's perfect. And if I wanted to, there are historical reenactment events for for the high and late medieval periods, and I can very much enter with the Gothic plate armor. I've done it already, so at the Kadelsburg in Germany a few weeks ago. Nice people. Yeah, that's Wotan, my best friend. But he's pissed at me because I haven't given him more snackies. Wotan, komm mal raus, Großer. Komm, Großer. Yeah, he ignores me. Okay. You're in a mixed group. Yeah, yeah. But I don't know why the ego is that high in the early medieval scene. Maybe because the barrier of entry, financially speaking, is lower, and it just has this like very raw and um, very toxic masculine vibe. I am a man through and through. I drive a big ass motorcycle. I love steak. I've got a big dog. I like beautiful women. I mean, I like beautiful men too, but I prefer women. And it's yeah, still for me sometimes I think these people need a reality check. Very, very, very many nice people in that scene too, but a lot of very, very like I'm so old school. I'm old school tough, and just gets on the nerves. How does a person build up the harness fencing scene in your area? There isn't too many where I live in the United States. Well, basically, you try to show interested people how cool the craft is, and um, how desirable it is to learn it. And you actually do not need a harness to start harness fencing, because mostly it comes down to very solid techniques in ringen, in fighting with a dagger, which is very, very, very easily achievable if you are good at ring. So basically, historisches Ring is the base of like everything in historical fencing, if it really comes down to it. And then you teach people, you practice with them, you study you study the manuscripts. That's very important. Otherwise, it isn't historic and it's just bullshit. And then you try your best to get the whole group ahead, and then you try to make events so other small groups can join, and slowly but surely the scene will grow. And if you get people with a bit higher of a budget, then they can actually afford armor. And since stuff like the Freihand armor exists, or some other more budget-friendly options, well, then the people can start. It's pretty easy, actually. You niche too hard, internet. Well, you're here, so you'll stay here. Looks like nice one. What's the one thing you're missing or want for your Renaissance kit? Oh, that's a very cool question, mate. Welcome to the chat, Griffin. Um, hmm. Well, the first thing I am always going to think about are weapons, and especially like really fancy and beautiful weapons. Um, but I like really fancy clothing too. So maybe a nice coat. I've seen something recently which like really blew me away. My favorite color is purple, dark purple, and it was like iridescent between like dark purple and black. It looked really damn cool. So I'll try to get good at sewing. I just recently bought a sewing machine without electricity, so I can put it up everywhere. And after I'm good enough, I'll get the fabrics and then I'll make one myself. So yeah, a cool ass coat. Yeah, definitely. The masculinity is a really weird thing in that scene. I do not dislike dominantly masculine things. I do not dislike dominantly feminine things, as long as there's a balance, and it in each person that balance shifts and is different than another person, and that's fine. You just have to be like in touch with yourself and be honest with yourself. And man, it's just so many people with a very big disbalance in those regards, and those tend to stress out the others around them and behave like children sometimes. Out of jokes here. I am sure you can come up with new ones, mate. I believe in you. Yeah, I have a bit of trouble filling out the strong and weak of a long sword against an opponent. How did you train to have that? That's a very good question. Basically, oh, I think my dog has seen something. Oh, schnapp's dir. If you can get it, you can eat it. He's watching. So feeling out the strong and the weak. Feeling is the answer to your question. There's a concept, I don't know if you know about it. It's called fühlen, because it's all German, which is awesome. And with fühlen, you apply it in a binding situation. So try to force the opponent into a bind, then feel out what he or her or she is doing, then move your sword accordingly. Try to reduce the intensity and the speed of sparring situations. Try to do it without gear. Like go really slow and just ease yourself into it. Um, and if you have troubles getting into the strong, most people have no trouble getting to the weak. Most of the people have troubles using their strong. Then remember that most of the time, not always, but most of the time, you're very well off trying to parry really high or really low. So if you go into these extremes, your sword will also go into these extremes. So if someone goes very low and you try to catch him early, then you try to parry like really deeply. So your strong will most likely meet their weak. And if someone goes like to the middle or very high, then you're very well off parrying really high too, because then your weapon is most likely going to be in the strong. And also, if you hit someone, most of the time, not always, most of the time, go after your sword first, and after like the first third of your weapon arcs over to your opponent, then you step into that move or step to the side, like in Maya, and that will most likely position your sword better than if you would have been standing there statically. Cookie time. I want cookies too. Didn't make any. That's torture. How often do you have to clean your equipment? And it's true, your Gambazon can't be washed, stays nice, nasty. No. Depending on the fabrics of the Gambazon, first off, there are certain methods of getting rid of the bacteria. Vinegar spray, like any acids, baking powder, um, pulling them inside out, hanging them in the sun, so the UV rays kill a lot of bacteria too. Um, and like if it says it's like you can't wash it because of the padding, it will just clump up, then you have to resort to such methods. But there are ways. It's just different processes of cleaning them. Using a feeder, I tend to travel straight to an opponent's weak. Maybe that's because you're trying to hit the weapon and not your opponent. Aim at the opponent. Small psychological warfare. Yeah, it's ring with a smelly opponent and you surrender. No, I don't surrender when I'm in ring. I'll just finish the fight quicker. I'm very serious about ring. I will make it one of my specialties. I'm okay right now, but I'm going to be great at it because I want to. I've seen what people who are good at historical ring can do, and it's like the most complete and fearsome martial art I've ever seen. I've done a lot, even on a professional level. Um, there's nothing close to it because it's like that serious. There are no rules. There's no game. It's just fight and win. I have to travel to a weak. The sword tends to glance to the opponent's strong. When I travel to a weak. Ah, okay. Well then, your opponent might just be pretty good at like at getting his strong into your weak. Then you have to use feints. My future plans for the channel. Oh, I have a lot of plans. I just came back yesterday. No, the day before yesterday, from the Czech Republic, because I was filming a documentation on historical fencing. I am going to travel to the Netherlands too, and make stuff with Virtual Fechtschule. I'm going to travel to Switzerland, to Austria, to Poland, hopefully, and within Germany too. And I'm going to make like proper cool little martial art documentaries about historical fencing, and like special trainers or masters or even like prized fighters in those areas, and like the other martial arts YouTubers basically. So I'll be traveling, I'll be going there, I'll be teaching, I'll be learning from them. Then we're going to have like technical training, sparring bouts, and a bit of banter and interview stuff. And I'm going to release a few episodes about it, and then it's going to be a great video. So you can expect that in the future. A lot more harness fencing, a lot more Bloßfechten. Um, I'll be. I'm planning on making a. I think it's going to be a very cool video series, like if you ever played video games before on a competitive level, roads to like Grandmaster, Master, whatever. So I'm going to make my own series about my path to Gazelle, and then my path to Master afterwards. So I'm going to have like some of my training, some of my trainings open. No, bad English. I'm going to show some of my trainings and what I'm doing specifically in order to prepare myself for different kinds of tests that my guild is going to give me, and so I can basically level up. Yeah. Will you try Buhurt? Maybe the solo fighting stuff, but I need armor for that. The ones I have are not suitable for Buhurt. My lamella armor might be if I modify it a bit, because it's made of like really thick hardened steel plates, but not my plate harness. Buhurt would be too much for it. Netherlands or no? What do you mean by that? Much less time than I thought. Man, that's nice to read, mate. You're going to see more of it. Harness fencing is really fun, and it's very underrated. The only big channel who's doing stuff on it is my friend Lennart Diquitem. Very cool, awesome videos. I will probably never match that quality because I don't have that equipment and the knowledge. He's a very good videographer and a good fighter, but I'm going to do it in my own way, in my own style, and that's going to be fun too. For me, it will be more educational and more centered around my ego because winning is fun. I'm highly competitive, but that's okay, I think. They have soft kits because Buhurt is expensive, that's true. Although I would say harness fencing is way more expensive than Buhurt. Mr. Lightspeed Tractor, I have no idea what you're on. Please elaborate, mate. I think I lost you. I would like to find you again, but I lost you. What are some of your favorite warrior cultures throughout history, not including the obvious Landsknechts? The Sikhs, they are very respectable. Even the women were taught some kind of fighting. They have very beautiful weaponry and a very interesting kind of dress system with all sorts of hidden weapons inside of them. They are incredible, or were incredible. The Celts and Picts. Well, it's not really a warrior culture. They had warriors, but it's not the whole culture was based around them. The Samoans, amazing warrior culture. So like island people, technologically like far behind the West, but incredible warrior culture. Landsknechts weren't really part of warrior culture. They were more like mercenaries. The nightly orders, like when they used to be proper nightly orders, and like before all the power got into their heads, those must have been pretty fierce warriors and pretty strong men. Yeah, those would be my first guesses. Thank you, mate. Well, I'm me, and I like being me. I never really liked myself when I was younger because I made a lot of very questionable decisions, and I wasn't really honest with myself, nor have I been honest with the people close to me. I mean, it's a long time ago, but still, I didn't like myself then, and I worked very hard on becoming at least a decent guy. My best friend would now, like my best human friend would now slap me on the neck and say, "No, you're a good guy." But in my eyes, I'm decent, and that's okay. And I like being me, so I don't want to copy anyone. For example, when it comes to Lennart, to dig with him, I really like the guy. I respect him, and he taught me so much, be it about fencing or creating content too. He's a very creative person, and I respect him very much. Um, but yeah, he's not me, and I am not him. So that's a beautiful thing too. But that means my stuff is different. I have a very different creative thought process than like other guys. So for example, Robin Swords. So he has such a cool style of like clothing, very clean looking, very beautiful background, and like very educational. Although he's not always right when it comes to sword technique, but I might be able to change that in the future. I just have to get to him. I have a contact, personal friend of his, very recently made that contact, so maybe there will be some Fraser Fencing meets Robin Swords in the future, maybe next year. I've got contacts to his main club also, so that could be a possibility. Um, I don't really like what Cellsort arts have been doing. They are making money, and I think they might be able to like have a more or less good style of living through doing this. But I used to really like the way David has been doing his old videos. He was very genuine. I think he really meant what he said. But then they changed, and it's very childish. It's not really my cup of tea. I I have nothing but like respect for them, but that's just not my style. And don't I honestly don't think that they are doing it in order to make historical fencing more popular. I think it's more about making themselves popular. Yeah, Scalagram. Um, he is just back to making videos where he's actually moving, and I'm very happy about that. I think he might be the reason I'm doing this. I've been watching his videos, like you most likely have also been, where he was still in that knife shop, so super long ago. But yeah, Scalagram. Yeah, Shadiversity, not a good guy. I think I might leave it at that. Or maybe if he somehow gets to see this and makes a hateful video about me, I get more popular. I really dislike that person, and I would probably very much enjoy having a sword fight against him, and I would probably just have my fun because he's not a good fighter. He's absolutely not a good person. He has very, very weird ethical views and moral views. Uh, yeah, I would hate being his brother. His brother seems to be a very good guy. No, let's talk about him. Would be nice to get a 3-hour video. Maybe his viewers will actually get some quality content, not his bullshit. No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't take that duel. I'd slap his fat ass around. What other cultures' armor fascinates you? And if you could own some of the arms or weapons, what would they? Oh, dude, great questions. Um, well, Lamella armor, I already own a piece. It recently came to me after about 9 months of waiting time. It's so beautiful. It's Byzantine, so really, really, and like really high quality. It's all handmade. Oh, I think it might be one of the best armor pieces in that sector in the whole of Germany, and I'm proud of it. It costs way too much money, but it was worth it. But it costs way too much. Other than that, Mongolian armor. I don't really know from what period, but um, when the when the Khan was active, um, I mean Genghis, when Genghis Khan was active, they had pretty cool looking armor, but I prefer European high medieval and late medieval and Renaissance armor, like over everything else. And I would really like to own a set of late Maximilian armor, but not for cavalry, but for turnier fights. Those looked awesome and really fancy. Dude, I've got a huge belly too, but no, that was mean to say. I don't give a flying rat's ass about what people look like. It's important what they have here and here, and I'm happy if people are healthy enough to be able to move properly. Other than that, body fat percentage, I don't give a flying f about it. I just disliked the guy, so I said something hurtful. I spoke out of term. I got the Lamella armor at True History shop. A lot of people in the Viking reenactment scene in Germany know the guy. He's not the most friendly person. And it was so much trouble to actually get it to me, but in the end, it worked out. Ah, okay. Ja, dann kennst du den ja. Der gute Oleg. It's getting a bit cold. And I thought I would have fire, but apparently I cannot have fire. Naja. Still, I think I'm going to get myself a blankie from inside. I'll be right back. Warte, Wotan, ich bin gleich wieder da. I'll be right back. Give me a second. Or two. Oh, let's hope it stays in range. Aha. This is actually... I think this might be a smart idea. And I'm back. Just got myself a blankie. A really nice one. This might be my single most favorite piece of clothing I own. It's an early medieval woolen blanket, and it's so comfy. This literally saved my life on many cold occasions. It's just very tightly woven wool, and it does its job perfectly. I love that thing. $15 months. Whoa. 800. I mean, if it's a yeah, it's from Toretsge Wandungen. She makes such beautiful clothing. She almost never has the time to make something. And I got really lucky that she put up like 2 of these. I got the big one. Perfect. So perfect. When it's really cold on events, we recently had something where it was like minus 3 degrees Celsius. And if I didn't have this, like legitimately would not have survived the night. But this helped me through it. It was still super cold and uncomfortable, but with this it was not life-threatening. I learned from it. I get sheep's blanket, like thick sheep's wool blankets. What is the most effective fighting force? If you had 50 men, what kind of classes would you choose for them? I mean, we would have to put it into a historical perspective. Would you kindly give me like a time frame where I can pick these men from? Because otherwise I'd just say, let's get a modern drone commando with like, I a few snipers, a few artillery guys, and like 20 drone pilots, and we'll be taking it easy while the enemies would be dying. Give me a time period. Für Oma, süß. Yeah, she makes really, really nice stuff. And it's kind of affordable too. I mean, it has its price, but it's way worth it. The quality is top notch. 8,000 arrows at Agincourt every 6 seconds. Yeah, that must have been incredibly scary. The 18th, so let's say 1400s. Okay, cool. I'm I'm very much into the 1500s and 1600s, but I'll try to think of something. So it was a time before like super heavy cavalry hit, and it was just brigandines. I think yeah, still for that time heavy cavalry, so lanced riders. Let's say we have an open field, and it's semi-solid ground, so horses can actually run there. Okay. Um, Personal guard troop going to enemy territory. I bring archers. Yeah, yeah, Reiterei and Lanzen. I honestly would bring a lot of riders. Um, with in the 1400s with shields and lances. Then I'd have, then yeah, I'd have archers too, longbow archers. How many people did you say were allowed to bring? 50 men. 50 men. 50 men. Well then, honestly, the archers might be the smartest choice actually. But on an open field, I'm not sure, man. It's a very cool but very tough question, and I want to be precise. Hmm. If I would, no, we stay with 15 men. That's a good point. Let's say we'd have. I know what I'll do. Um, we'll have 20 archers, and we'll have 30 pikemen. I mean, pikes weren't like really a thing until the 1500s, but still long spears. With barricades against cavalry. Maybe pick an area with a bit of woodland because there the riders couldn't move in formation, and the ground is a bit more muddy. And if it would be an open field, then I'll put the archers in two groups, and the pikemen and half of the pikemen in front of each group. And according to the enemy's movements, I'd then like split the troops further or put them into one big pile. Ja. Ich wünsche dir einen wunderschönen Abend. Man hört und sieht sich, ja, freue ich mich drauf. Mach's gut und schlaf gut. Genieß dein Wochenende und den Sonntagmorgen. Hoffentlich hast du schönes Wetter. Tschüssi. 15th or 16th too. Well, 15th would just be a normal Gewalthaufen. So pikemen, halberdiers, and like very few musketeers or arquebuses. And then if it would be 16th century, I'd go with pike and shot. It dominated everything. So had a more like four-sided formation, pikemen in front, side, and in the back, and in the corners they would put marksmen. Perfect system. Yeah, man, those kinds of discussions are one of the most fun things you can do. It's there's always something to debate about, and like I like these kind of questions. It's just you can throw in certain different variables, and that would change like the whole game, the whole system. Fun to talk about. I mean, I talk about this with friends too, so it's just natural. We're on the same page there. Is there anything, any technical questions you have, like regarding swordplay or other weapons too, for that matter? I mean, I'm an enthusiast through and through, but I'm first and foremost a fighter. Nabubu, schläfst du? My dog is slowly falling asleep right next to me. You can see his legs there. Moment, Schatz. That little guy is the best thing that ever happened to me. On archers. Okay. What kind of opinions? I only know, well, it's not just basics, but I know a little about archery. I'm not an archer myself, to be clear. But in terms of strategy and so on, I can think of several things. But just specify. Dude, this blanket is so comfortable. um, if we are in like the 1500s, I would take the pikeman. In the 1500s, the pikeman wore a lot of like half plate and helmets that lend themselves perfectly against arrows. They had like these. I forgot the name of the helmet. Oh, that's bad. It looked like an Eisenhut, but with a with an upward slanted rim around it. So arrows wouldn't really. If you do this, if you like did this and hungered down, most of the arrows that like didn't just go straight to your face um, wouldn't really touch you. No, it's not. It's not Marion Harmit. Damn, I feel stupid now. I had a long week. Um, no, it's not really about the guns. The guns do a lot of work, but they were mostly useful against the knights. Um, yes, correct. Then it was a Marion helmet. Grazie. Yeah. Um, um, the half plate, the armor, is what would give the archers a lot of trouble. Don't get me wrong. 1,500 archers, like a lot of arrows, would still find their targets. But if the pikemen would be moving in proper formations, that would like you wouldn't just have a huge block of 1,500 men. You would have several small blocks, and these small blocks um, would move in certain clusters, and these clusters could be mixed. So you'd have like a group here, a group here, a group here, a group here, and the archers would have to prioritize their targets, and they would need to spread that fire um, over like several different groups. Of course, if there was something like a courtyard, these guys would need to move through. so a choke point, then the archers would stand a good chance of wiping them out, because like after the arrows are used, archers would still be able to use a sword, an axe, or something else, or a spear. But I think if it's a more or less open battle, the pikemen would dominate. The Siege of Malta. Ooh. Oh, that's a cool question. Honestly, the Odyssey, but that's getting butchered by Christopher Nolan in such a horrible way. I didn't think he would do this kind of shit, but he does. Um, hmm. Such a cool. Well, Agincourt, obviously, like one of the most famous battles in history. Then my master told me about his favorite knight. It was a Polish knight, Jaromir. I forgot the name. I need to read it up. It's basically his life story. It's not just a single battle, but that guy was one of the most like badass men in history. I really have to read up on him. I learned so much this week, so something, not everything stuck. Um, hm, was wäre denn noch cool? Oh yes, the last battle of Sir William Marshall. He was in his late 60s and he went in the front line. I think he got injured but didn't die. Yeah, the last battle of Sir William Marshall. I would like to see that in a movie. His whole life story, honestly. What an awesome guy. Bows are a very cool tool. Um, if it's, I mean, hunting, sports, as a weapon, it's very versatile. So many different types of arrows you can shoot, and it's a lot of fun to shoot them too. So the history squad, yeah. Yeah. I saw the same one. It was really, really interesting. Ooh, I think my camera might have given up. No, it didn't. Yeah, into his 70s. What an incredible person. Must have been the guy. Fighting him would be cool too. Like having a training match or two, or several. He must have been the real deal. That would honestly be lovely. Being able to have friendly, that's like the emphasis is on friendly spars with the most famous knights and sword fighters of history. That would be so cool. Oh, that would be cool. Or maybe if it's something like a magical chamber where you could actually fight and you could die, but then you would just respawn with all your experience, but without PTSD. That would be cool. And then just go all out. Just see who's the better man. Then that would be so fun. Yeah. I mean, I do have the honors of learning from like actual modern um, weapon masters of the art of historical fencing. That's a very cool thing too. But learning from the men of history, pah, that would be an amazing experience. Battle Royale. Oh, nice idea. Dude, imagine someone making an anime of this, like with really good animation. No magics, no bullshit, no exaggeration. Just like see the guys in their prime, and then maybe put them into rosters regarding their or fitting their historical involvement. So like not having an early medieval guy or like guy from the antique era facing a Renaissance knight. That would not be fair. That would be so interesting. Something with animation as good as Vinland Saga. Oh, that would be so cool. Or make a like live action one, but with proper casting. That would also be nice. Yeah, yeah, I agree. Almost no one would be able to make it. We don't have enough talented. I mean, we do have talented sword fighters, but we don't have like most of them would not be experienced actors, so that wouldn't fit. So animation would be nice. Proper animation. Most of the time, I prefer it over live action. I stopped watching after he got settled. I mean, one of the biggest draws of that story is him making the transition into a peaceful man. But I think it just it got exaggerated in typical anime fashion, where it's like, I won't ever hurt someone again, and I think you would still try to protect your own life and that of others close to you. But never mind. Still, it was really nicely animated. Oh, it's 12 already. I think, I think I might be reading a bit and then going to bed. It has been a fun but long day, and I have to get all of this stuff inside of the apartment. I made such an effort in order to make it look nice. Uh, yeah, I think I'm going to make this. New community gathering actual historians to produce historical pieces. Yeah, that would be lovely. But it's so tough to get the funding on that. And if you make a really high quality movie about it, then you need um, the assistance and help of specific bigger studios who have the technology and the the capacity, the human capacity to produce something like this. But then you would have to cater to their stupid demands and like cast people in their wrong ethnicity. I mean, like Christopher Nolan cast um, I mean, she's a talented actress, but a a very thin, um, dark-colored woman is not Helen of Troy. Helen of Troy was a white woman with blue eyes. I mean, you had it. Like, why not take Sydney Sweeney? She pretty much. Oh, I think so too. It did. Um, I said that it would be tough to get proper funding for a good historical movie. Um, you'd need the help of a proper studio because of the demands of that movie. But as you can see with Christopher Nolan, who casts a very talented actress, but a non-fitting actress, a thin black woman as Helen of Troy, when he could have just taken like Sydney Sweeney, is horrible. And I wouldn't really want to see a like let's say Western guy portraying an Asian either. Like an Asian is an Asian, an African is an African, and a like blonde Scandinavian is a blonde Scandinavian. It's just yeah. Yes, African history is so interesting. Not just Shaka Zulu. There were many different warlords, and would be really interesting, but no one's going to make it. It's sad. I like human history, but human history is human history and not something you can just turn over and tell differently. I mean, you can, but then it's fiction. Maybe someday I have enough influence as an authority in the field to make at least a tiny difference. Yes, correct. Pay homage. Be respectful towards culture. Anyways, it was lovely having a chat with you, mate. Uh, you're free to join whenever you like. I mean, when I'm live, it's a rare occasion. I think I'm going to do it more and more, but it's still new to me. I will be going to bed now after putting all of these things back to their place, so I don't have to do it tomorrow. So have a lovely night or day, whatever time you have. It's pretty late here. It's 12 past 12. So have a good night or day. Same here, okay. See you, man.